Good evening. Thank you for being here. I'd like to call this June meeting to order. We'll have a word of prayer and we'll do the pledge. Father, we thank you for this day and this time. God, I thank you for this school board and their willingness to serve. God, I just pray right now that you would give us wisdom. God, help us to make the best decisions for their school, for the administrators, for the students, God, and everything we do. God, just help us and just show us the way that you would have us to go. And we thank you and we ask you to bless this night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item we have tonight is our consent. We have the agenda, we have the minutes of the May 13th and the May 27th meetings, and we also have a non-resident enrollment request. Do we have any questions about the consent items? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Motion by Mr. Madison to approve. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Thank you. No public participation. Our next item will be the resolution approving the waiver of certain penalties and interest.
All right, we received a request from the Tax Commissioner's office, and Ms. Linda Wilgus is here, our new Tax Commissioner. So we'll ask her to come forward for a resolution that she's asking the board to approve.
Here.
Yes, that's fine. That's good.
Basically, I'm just gonna read what I've got up there. As you know, we have interest and penalty that accrues on certain tax bills, and sometimes they need to be waived, such as, mail, because the mail. Office closings, unforeseen events or situations. When the assessor's office gives me E&Rs to do, due to appeals or value changes, those penalties and interest will have to come up because there's a new due date. Most of the time, the amount waived is only a few dollars, especially if it's a mail-related situation. By approving this resolution, you're authorizing me to take care of these simple waivers without y'all's approval every time. Otherwise, I'll have to bring each approval over here and bring it before you, which would delay the payment. And if, let's see, that would increase my workload as well as yours as well, having to put it on the agenda every time. And this resolution, like I said, is just for simple waivers. This resolution restricts the waiver allowed to circumstances where reasonable cause is found, excluding neglect by the taxpayer. This approval would assist the workflow of my office and without increasing your workload as well. So this is just for simple, minor waivers for penalties and interest.
Yearly, how much money do you think this amounts to?
Well, just mail related wouldn't be, I have no idea a figure on that, but it wouldn't be much at all. But E&Rs is something that we have year round all the time, and that just depends on what the bill is.
So there's not a whole lot of money involved in it.
Some of the E&Rs can be some money, but it just depends on what it is. If it's an E&R where the assessors have put on something on the bill that wasn't supposed to be on there, so that would be like, you just have no idea, really.
What's the E&R?
I'm sorry, an error and release.
Okay. How is this different than how it's been done in the past?
When I went to new tax commissioner school in December,
Mm-hmm.
we were told that these resolutions were something that we needed to have in our arsenal. I'll just put it that way. And this was one that got by me. Evidently, I did not do it January. I did all the rest of this one slipped by me. So, gone through the county and the city, and so I'm here for the school. But this is something that they really said we needed to have as a tax commissioner. Because that's your money that I'm taking off,
Right.
part of y'all's money.
So,
You think you can get the bank to do this?
I don't have any deals with, I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, that's why I ask how much money, because
Right,
If it was a lot of money, I would say no.
right,
Well, how, so you kinda went around the question a little bit, I don't wanna put you on the spot, but,
yeah.
let's just say that the previous tax commissioner's been doing it for 30 years, so is this like a huge chunk of money that, I've never seen this, I've been on here 8 years, I
Correct.
think.
Same procedures as always, that's always been done.
Okay.
I just have a resolution saying I have authority.
The authority to do it.
So,
But it's
I-
been being
It's been
done.
being done.
Correct.
Okay.
It's been being done.
This is nothing new. I'm
Nothing
sorry.
new.
Yeah, that's what I was
Nothing
trying
new
to
get at.
whatsoever. Nothing new.
And it's at your discretion, is that right, as far as the waivers?
Right, yes.
Yeah. But it's been done the whole time, it's just,
Correct,
we don't have a resolution
correct.
approving you to
Correct.
do it. I got you.
one other question, I'm sorry.
You're good right ahead.
So is there like a time frame, like, let's say 9 months that somebody is late? Is that, I'm
Oh,
just
no,
trying,
those penalties will not be waived, no.
Okay.
No.
okay,
Well, take for instance, let's say if a piece of mail did come in, yes, I would take those penalties and interest off, and because that has happened before. But
Okay.
that's not the normal.
okay.
But, you know, if Sally Sue was late paying their taxes, that's not an issue that I'm even talking about.
But just them paying them late is just they pay the penalties.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You're just trying to legalize what you've been doing
Yes,
already.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Glad you came. Explain.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If not, then we'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Heitman, second by Mr. Monroe. All in favor? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll have you sign that as chairman, that
Okay.
resolution.
All right. All right, the next item is approval of food and milk bid, school nutrition.
All right, before you have a copy of the action item, we did something different this year. In an effort to get the best pricing, we partnered with another school district to get some lower prices. And so we partnered with Warren County, and we sent out the food bids on the procurement website on May 5th. They were to be open on June 6th. We only received one bid for the foods, which is William Institution of Foods, and we use them currently. The milk bid, because it was under 100,000, we sent it to 3 vendors just to get 3 different quotes. We received bids from 2, and we do have a copy of the bids, and you see that Pet Dairy is the lowest price on all of the milk items. There's the bid sheet. So if you look under, W stands for Williams and P stands for Pet, and you can just look at the different items, and they're a few cents cheaper on every single item. So it is my recommendation that we award the food bid to Williams Institutional Foods and the milk bid to Pet Dairy.
Quick, did we get a substantial savings, or did it just go a minimal by partnering with Warren County?
I
You know,
wouldn't say substantial. I think this in line with pretty much this year.
Okay.
So we were just trying to see if they would. But of course, the more products you offer, the cheaper it is. But with the 2 vendors, I don't think it's significant.
Any other question?
make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Heitman to approve the food and milk bid as presented by the superintendent.
Second.
Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Thank you. All right, our next item is our estimated rollback rate.
Okay, so I want to reiterate something that this, I'm gonna say it several times, this is a new concept that became law this year. Brand new law, brand new concept. House Bill 581, which you know about, was passed in 2024, and then House Bill 92 was passed this year. House Bill 581 created the estimated rollback, and then House Bill 92 added the deadline by which the estimated rollback must be provided. And again, I want to say it again, it's estimated. It's estimated. This is not, this is different than our annual rollback rates that we will do in the fall. So this is just something new as part of the law, as part of 581. So this board must certify this estimated rollback rate no less than 15 days prior to the postmark of the annual notice, which is July the 1st. So today's June 10th. We have 5 days to get this to our tax assessor, and he'll be able to put this estimated rollback rate on the tax notices. I did speak to Mr. Adair at length regarding this estimated rollback. We talked about what the county was going to do, and then we just talked about our new digest coming in and what he thought. And so it is my recommendation to set the estimated rollback rate at 16 mills. Again, this is different than the fall when we will come, once we get our digest and once we get the actual rollback rate, then we can set our millage rate then. But again, this is estimated only. There's no calculations with the tax digest. It is just part of the new House Bill 581 and House Bill 92 law. So I am requesting to set the estimated rollback at 16 mills.
Thinking that will come down probably. correct?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Where are we currently at?
14.579.
So how did you arrive at the 16? Quick
Ba-
version.
Based upon discussions with Kenny Adair, most districts and county officials are going with an increase of about 1 meal from where they are. And so, of course, in the fall, when we get to the rollback rate, we're hoping it's not going to be 16 or even higher. Hopefully it'll be lower, but we just send it just to make sure that we're able to have an estimated rollback rate that we can work with.
We discussed all this at the conference, and that's what they said, 1 to 1.5 meals is
Above
what
your
they
current
were,
rate.
above your current rate is what they were saying. And also, they were saying that the hearings is now, what, every 2 years?
Well, the latest I have is still every year
No, they changed
since
that.
we roll back. So again,
Unless-
things are ever changing with this House Bill 581, and we
They
kind of
were-
talked about legislation for those who opted out. You know, it's going to be
Phil Hartley was talking about that, and don't hold me to it, but I think they said it, you have to do it every 2 years now instead of every year.
Good.
They had changed some of that, so. All right, any other questions about the rollback rate? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the estimated rollback rate at 16 mills. Motion by Mr. Mongeru, second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Thank you. All right, Mr. Norman, our financials.
Good evening again. As you can see, we are doing April 25 for this month. We talked about it earlier, but we did receive the $705K from our from Ms. Wilgus in April, so it is shown here. And our ad valorem taxes are $500,000 over where they were last year, which is probably why our total fund balance was $500,000 over, as you noticed earlier, Mr. Cox. Our real estate transfer tax is still higher than last year, but it's right on par with where we thought. TAVT is about the same. Still have a bunch of interest. We did not budget enough there. The QPE is still, it's lower than it should be because of the error on the financials that we had to adjust. State grants are slowly catching up, but still the December supplement from the prior year is why the prior year number is higher. Impact aid, we just received about $33,000 of impact aid in June the 5th, I think it was. So it's not on here, but we will be over budget for impact aid this year. We collected more than we thought. Nothing there. So overall, we're a little under where we should be in revenues, but most of that is because of the book entry we had to make per the audit, the 2024 audit.
The extra on the impact aid was the money that we had not received previous, is that right?
Yes,
Or is
so
it
we're supposed to get 2 payments annually. We get the where is it?
It's like 250 something.
I think
270.
it's 245 and some change, and then we received some flood control money. But then last year they paid us around 27K. This year it jumped to 33K, not sure why. But we did receive more than we budgeted for.
Look, back up to the interest. Explain that to me, please.
Which part?
$76,104.90 of interest.
That's all interest in that other account. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's off CDs.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Prior year was 36,000.
Yes, sir, we didn't have this is what they hit later. I think they hit in June is why,
Okay.
is why it's more now. And they've been, constant throughout the year.
Okay, that's great. That's good.
I think we put them in January or February of '24. So we would have only had, 5 or 6 months of interest. Well, up to this point, 3 months. But then this is, it has 10 months worth of interest in it. So all in all, good there. For our expenses, we are still under budget, which is always great. One thing I noticed when doing the budget in our pupil services, I've been wondering why this is higher the whole time. We had an error in our budget sheet, so we should have budgeted more for our athletic supplements. It was just the way the sheet pulled. So that's the main reason our pupil services is a higher percentage. The number we have paid out for athletic supplements is correct. The budget number is just lower than it should be. Obviously, our general admin is gonna be higher since we moved Miss Beth Hahn up. And our buses in here that we received in November is the reason, our student transportation is higher than the others. The rest are pretty similar. And one thing to note, I think our revenues are 81.87%, our expenses are 81.78%, so we're very close to where we expected. Cash, this number, this 5,280,000, that is what you see on the budget sheet for cash at the end of April. So that's where that number comes from, just to give you an idea. It shows that we did collect the 705K. We're still missing the 70,000, roughly 70,000. Haven't heard back anything on the bond. I will check with Mr. Dawson, Ms. Willis again tomorrow. I think they just have to draw up the paperwork, I'm hoping. I mean, we got a verbal agreement, but nothing official yet.
No.
Obviously, no check
Oh, and
on
that
the
was
bond part.
the bond payment.
They're gonna use the bond to try to pay us back our
Right,
$70,000
tax
Okay.
commissioner's bond.
Okay,
tax
Okay.
commissioner's
We
bond.
received a verbal
okay. I got you.
acceptance that they would
Okay.
do it, but we haven't seen anything else. Nothing's written in stone.
The bonding company.
Correct. bond
Yes.
acceptance.
Okay,
That's
okay.
right.
It kind of threw me there. Okay, I got you.
I'm sorry. So you can see again, as Mr. Cox pointed out, we were about $500,000 above where we were last year in our general fund, cash and investments. Not much else to see on the balance sheet. We're over in total assets because of our cash. And our equity is obviously up as well. Not much here, other than we have a small surplus now after collecting the 705K. And we're about $500,000 behind where we were last year, which is the increase in the funds. SPOS is still enormous, is the only way to put it. When I started here, we were lucky to get 90K. Now we're collecting 110 pretty consistently. I don't know when it slows down, but it's very worthwhile. It is very much needed. So here's our SPOS summary. Remember, I paid all the bond payments I could out of it on April the 1st. That's the 1.15 you see. We are about 80K above where we were last year at this point. Our bond, we collected a little bit of bond taxes. We just collect everything in December and January. We collect some of the older stuff now, some of the prior taxes and stuff now. Some TABT on it. But our interest there, since this account has the larger balance, in case we do redid the SPOS, we'll have money to pay the bond payments with this amount. It's drawing a bunch of interest here, almost $1,500 in interest in a month. And I think that's only like a 0.5% interest or something, since that's a checking account. And we're about, what is that, 300K over there, a little over 300K. So in summary, just to skip to the bottom, we have a surplus of funds. We have about 400K more funds than we did last year, which basically, we had a 400K surplus of bond and SPOS over our payments. And we have already covered our next year's worth of payments. Our next payment in October and April, we already have the funding for it.
That's great.
So now we're just sitting on the funds. Obviously, it's only 75K of funds, but our SPOS is gonna continue to build up until then.
That's why we need that thing fixed, so we can,
That resolution.
We got something
That's
we need
right.
to spend, right?
Correct.
Purchase.
we've gotta get that resolution.
As soon as we can update our SPOS and it hopefully pass the election.
That's
Our
a must.
capital, I'm sorry.
No, so that's a must that it has to
Oh,
pass.
yeah.
Did we talk about it now or? No? Okay.
Our guy's been speaking a lot. In that time of work. Capital projects, nothing's changed. The only change here would be the interest on it. I think it was like $5. It's still sitting here. And we mentioned earlier, when we do get the SPOS, we don't know if we have to move SPOS money to capital projects to cover capital projects or not, but that's something to look forward to, or to keep in mind for the future. But as of right now, there are no, like, steady projects that we are working on, obviously. The 50K was transferred last month, as you all know. And our CEP, another huge month. I think this is like the 4th month in a row. Our reimbursement from the state has been over 100K, and I think last year we were getting 60 or 70K a month. So there's your surplus.
That's good.
I still don't understand that, but
I don't either. I don't know.
it's great.
I don't know what
I don't get it, I
now
really don't.
what we'll have to spend out of school food, but it could come. As of right now, it looks like a great program for our students and our citizens. And that is all I have.
Any questions from Mr. Norman on the financials?
I do have our budget sheet that we need to vote on, but
Okay.
if there are any more questions on that, I can try to answer them.
If there's no further questions on the financials, then we'll move right on to the approval of the fiscal year 26 budget.
It's been repeated several times, but the budget looks much worse than it does due to the land purchase, and we have basically saved money for that land, so there's really only a $300,000 deficit instead of a $1 million deficit, in my mind.
Any questions about the 26 budget?
We can question it to death. I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Heitman to approve the fiscal year 26 budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mulgrew. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Norman. We'll move on to renewal of the non-resident enrollment students.
All right, so part of our policy is just to give you, board members, an opportunity to look at all of the non-resident enrollees and Again, there's no vote on it, but just for your review, all 3 schools submitted their list of non-resident enrollments.
All right. If there's no questions on the non-residents, we'll move on to comprehensive needs assessment presentation.
All right.
Yes.
So part of yearly district improvement plan, which we are required to do in order to have a plan how we're going to utilize our federal funds. We work to develop this year our CNA process, which is much different than we've done it before, just based off feedback to get more intensive participation. So here's just a overview of what our CNA process is to figure out where we are and where we intend to be in the next year. So we must rate the standards and identify strengths and weaknesses and collect and go through our data, which we've done. You'll see the meetings that we've had. Identify priorities to create SMART goals, which is what I'm presenting to you today as a part of our district improvement and school improvement plans that were developed last week. And once we present this information to you, we will submit to the state on tonight or tomorrow. It'll be submitted to the state. I got to submit to the superintendent, and then we'll get it. So this is just for public and your information purposes. So you see our timeline. We began in February. District leadership team. March, the district leadership team again came together with a collection of data. We had an internal stakeholder meeting where teachers, school leadership came together and set up in 3 groups and analyzed the data and determined where we were and what we need to do to possibly improve based off the data that we had. Then we developed our goals on the 18th based off those meetings with our district leadership team. And then we had a public meeting that was open to the public on Monday, April 28th. This is a normal meeting where we would kind of invite one of you to come in. It was just a general open meeting for anyone to attend that we did invite some stakeholders. And then on the 19th, and we didn't specifically invite either one of you because we discuss these things in our board meetings and you're doing executive sessions and things. So there's no reason to have you there, just to have you there. Then on the 19th of May, with the district leadership team, principals, and or the board office leadership between Dr. Gumby, Dr. Cunningham, I believe Dr. Stein may or may not have been in this meeting. Had the sheriff in 1 or 2 of our meetings and the principals and assistant principals looking at those goals. And then today we are presenting our district improvement goals. We've went through CCRPI and data in October, so this 2024-25 goals is there just for information purposes for those that are when view it later and what's on our website. So no reason to go back through that. So our 25-26 goals, our goal number 1, we have 2 goals. First goal is the same as it was last year, which is to increase the percentage of students who score proficient or above by 2% in all tested areas. So those are 20 assessments for the high school, and then the elementary 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Everyone take math and ELA. And then in addition to that, we have 5th grade take science, and then 8th grade, they take social studies and science in addition to math, ELA, and those 4, so that gives us 20 tested areas. So that encompasses as an academic achievement of our students who want to show improvement. We had discussion of should we measure, we look at it both ways. If we just say 2%, you're basically judging the teacher because you're looking at how did 6th grade students do this year, how did the 6th grade students do next year. So that's kind of seeing the teacher, but we also look at it for our purposes longitudinally, how the 6th graders do, what they do is 7th grade year, and that kind of shows really, truly what kind of growth we have at teachers. So we look at that and analyze that. Proud to say for last year with this goal, cumulatively overall, we have seen over 2% increase, particularly in math. Almost every math, other than 2 test areas of the in math, show an increase of 2% or above. Some were at the same, and we had a slight decrease in our ELA areas. But next year, ELA will not count for a student, so because we're implementing new ELA standards. So hopefully we can work on that with our ELA. And so we have our action steps of how we're going to do that, about provide supplies and spendable equipment that allows us to use our Title I dollars for our instructional specialists, provide tutoring during the day and after school. And then professional development. Goal number 2 allows us, it's broad, so we can use Title II funds that we have can allocate to have professional development for any needs that we need for our teachers. Then 3 is to implement evidence-based strategies, programs, and fund endorsements. This deals with teachers that need additional endorsements. This year, we've had to pay for testing to get our teachers ESOL endorsed, because we have to meet those even though we don't have 5 students. So it was 6, 1 tested out. Even though we don't have 5 students, we must meet the requirements, so we pay for various things for that. And then our new teacher mentoring program, that's action step 4. And we found that these are activities and things that can help us increase the rigor and increase the teaching, the capacity of our teachers. Then our second goal, so this has some historical data right here, because this goes into our second goal, so you can see when we say we want to get a readiness score 80 or above, or school climate of 4 stars. You'll know we didn't just come up with this out of thin air. It's based on historical data of where we are and where we can improve. And then it explains a little bit, which we went through in times past when we do a CCRPI presentation, is what is readiness? Readiness, as Dr. Gumby likes to quote and say quite often, about the whole child. This goes beyond just the tested areas, math, science, social studies, English. This goes into accelerated enrollment AP students. It goes into student attendance, reading level, goes into the CTE courses. So that is measured with our readiness score. So we found it important to use as a goal to help us measure how we performing, not just in academic, the core academic subject areas. And then our school climate score, which is very important, as you know, as your people in your districts always talk about Lincoln County, why they want to move here, for the school climate. Very great school climate. So we want to continue that. So that's one of our goals. And this just gives you information of how a school climate score is developed. You get a score based off survey data, parent, student, school survey for personnel, and the students, and the parent data, discipline data, discipline records, and then school-wide attendance. So all those things go into how you get a school climate rating. Just a nutshell, you get an average, and then once you get that average, you get 5 points added for your PBIS, and then those points, or system similar to that, give your average, and then you must fall within the category. And so, as you can see, last year, currently this year, the elementary and high school are 4 stars, and the elementary and the middle school was a 5-star. So our goal is to maintain a readiness score of above 80, which we've done consistently in most of the schools, and we want to achieve that or higher, and a minimum 4-star school climate rating. That's our second goal. And then our action steps to help us get that. This is new. This is dependent on funding. One initiative that Dr. Gumby, in consultation with the principals, particularly the secondary, high school, middle school principals, about a student support specialist, if we're able to, with federal funds, not local funds, provide a student support specialist to help with career pathway, CTE, graduation, to work along with the counselor and our CTE director and our administration to help push our students to be ready for the workforce and beyond. And then our mental health goal was action step 2, that's action step to help us with PBIS, MTSS, which is changing a little bit, PBIS, and how we can improve, continue to have great, or low student discipline issues and improve our attendance. And our third one is to engage, invite stakeholder groups of different things we can do to improve parent engagement and participation in our school. And then there's a feedback survey that individuals can view, those who are watching us later. On the website, you can click on this link and you can provide feedback on the goals. Anyone wants to help us with, have input beyond what we've already have done throughout the, since February 14th to develop these goals. So these are our 2 goals and our action steps that will guide the use of federal funds. The use of federal funds to increase the academic offerings and the achievement academically, particularly, and beyond for our students.
Do we have any questions? Mr. Williams about the CNA presentation? If not, we'll move on to policies for revision. Thank you, sir.
All right, policy IDFA, title is Gender Equity in Sports. This was a policy change that we received just recently on our policy updates from the Georgia School Board Association. So this policy now is identical to what the state has put out for us to use. And I want to just share with you that the first couple of words, in compliance with the Equity in Sports Act, that's the same act as the Raleigh Act, Raleigh Gaines Act of 2025, and it talks about that single-sex competitive sports have the definitions of male and female in that particular law. So I just want to kind of just share with you just real quick about the Raleigh Gaines Act, and just so that you understand, all of this is not in our policy. It just references the policy, but I want you to understand what's being referenced. So the Raleigh Gaines Act pretty much deals with competitively fair and safe student participation. And we've heard this about boys participating in girls sports and girls participating in boys sports. So this is just to make sure and promote fairness and safety among our athletes. It talks about occupancy restrooms, sleeping quarters, and changing areas when teams go off. And just this policy wants to make sure that we are fair and we are equitable, and we know that, and we have the differences between males and females. It goes so far as to define a female, and I'll go ahead and read that to you. Female means an individual who has, had, will have, or but for a developmental or genetic anomaly or historical accident would have the reproductive system capable of producing human ovum. So that is a female. A male means an individual who has, had, will have, or but for a developmental or genetic anomaly or historical accident would have the reproductive system capable of producing human sperm. So this act spells it out, what a male is and what a female is when it comes to participation in sports. So this particular policy covers that in the Raleigh Gaines Act. So those are the changes from the previous policy. Any questions about that? The new policy is about 20-30 pages long of the Raleigh Act, but remember that's part of the policy in IDFA. Okay, if no questions, next policy is the food service management. I met with our food nutrition director, Ms. Singleton, and she updated this policy based on the criteria that is current. So you have the corrections in green, and then of course what we're changing in yellow.
The next is policies to be moved to procedures.
Yes, sir. We've moved all of our duties of every employee to procedures. So all of our, again, employees are in the procedures, so we just need to move the school superintendent duties to procedures. And again, if this board wants to change any of those duties as a procedure, you can make those changes without a formal vote. And so we want to move those to procedures. And then the second one is the MTSS, Student Support Services. If you look at that policy, this policy now has changed, and Mr. Williams just alluded to our MTSS system. As the Director of Special Ed, I was instrumental in assisting the district in starting our MTSS system. We now are part of the GO MTSS system with the state, and we document all of our multi-tiered systems of students in a database. And so it works well when these particular kids transition into special ed, if they do. But a tiered system is just a system to make sure all of our kids' needs are being met. We have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So as a kid struggles in less academics, they may be moved to tier 2. Tier 2 provides them more intervention, maybe more time, so that they can grasp the concepts that they are lacking. The MTSS system is a system, which is my favorite, again, like Mr. Williams said, is to help the whole child. And that's our goal, is to help the whole child. All of our kids come with different needs, and so this system trying to catches those students who maybe fall behind. This is not just academics, it is also behavioral. PBIS now is it's an umbrella, it's under the umbrella of MTSS. So you have academics, behavior, and well-being all wrapped into one. So we try to take care of that whole child through this process. So the reason we need to move it to procedures and not a policy is because this is not a policy. It is an ongoing process of work, of making sure kids get what they need. It's a problem-solving process. It's a prevention process, and it's not a, again, policy. So we want to be able to move that and change as needed based on the state direction, federal direction, and doing what's best for our kids. So
Okay.
we'll take those out of policy and move those to our procedures.
There's no questions on those. We'll move to superintendent's report.
Don't have any. With the exception, I don't know if Mr. Williams is gonna be here when we get back from executive session, but I'm gonna take this time to thank Mr. Williams for all he's done for this district. I hired Mr. Williams a long time ago as a math teacher when he first came to the district. Phenomenal math teacher, and I'll never forget that first couple of weeks. It was just different from where he came from, and I was like, whoa, we're different than where you came from, and really appreciate all he's done for the district and just coaching and teaching. We always tease him about being ADHD, but again, he's very energetic, and we appreciate his expertise. We appreciate all the hard work and everything he has done for us, and we wish him well in his new adventure.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you've done for us here. All right. No further questions. I need a motion to go to executive session. Motion by Mr. Madison, second by Mr. Margaret. All right, I'd like to call this meeting back to order. Superintendent recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Tracy Markwalter as an elementary school teacher. Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? The superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Brittany Johnson as an elementary school teacher. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Amy Kuhar as a school psychologist. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Roger Zellers as a custodian. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Kirsten Banks as a paraprofessional at the elementary school. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Carlin Gibson as a paraprofessional at the elementary school. Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Lakeisha Lockhart as the food nutrition manager for the high school.
Second.
Second by Mr. Heitman, all in favor? And I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you very much.